Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's meeting of the Assembly Committee on Growth and Infrastructure. Mr. Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Assemblywoman Brown May. Assemblyman Carter.
Present.
Assemblywoman Dickman. Assemblywoman Gallant. Assemblyman Gurr. Assemblywoman Kasama. Assemblywoman Marzola. Assemblywoman Miller. Assemblyman Miller. Assemblywoman Peters. Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong. Chair Watts.
And I am here. Thank you. Please mark those members who are not currently present as present when they arrive. Members, we do have two bills on our agenda today to be heard. A few quick housekeeping notes before we get started. If you would like to provide testimony today, please sign in at the table in the back of the room. If you have a business card, please provide one to the committee secretary. When you are providing testimony or public comment, please state and spell your name for the record. We will have one public comment period at the end of today's meeting. We will ask anyone wishing to provide public comment to limit their remarks to 2 minutes. Additionally, I see that we have many community members joining us at the meeting today. Hello, welcome. In order to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to be heard, we will be limiting testimony on our bill hearings today to 20 minutes in support and 20 minutes in opposition and 20 minutes in neutral for the bills that we are hearing today. If you have any electronic devices, please do keep those silenced while we go through the meeting. Members will be looking at materials on their laptop computers, so please do not take that as a sign of disrespect. Okay, now that we've gotten that done, we have 2 items on our agenda today. We're going to take them in order, so we will begin with AB 316, which revises provisions governing motor vehicles. And welcome Assemblyman Miller back to the testimony table. Whenever you're ready, you can proceed. I will open the hearing on AB 316.
All right. Thank you, Chair Watts and members of the Modernizing Growth and Infrastructure Committee. For the record, I am C.H. Miller, representing Assembly District 7 down in Clark County, and I'm here today to present Assembly Bill 316, which revises the penalty for the unlawful possession of unregistered vehicles unfit for use. My goal is to keep this short and sweet. We'll see how that goes. Under current law, a person who keeps on private property more than 2 unregistered vehicles that are no longer intended for or in condition for lawful use on highways is guilty of a misdemeanor, which is a criminal penalty. This has been in effect since 1973. So yes, you can potentially go to jail for having one too many unregistered, unfit for use Oldsmobiles on your property. But don't sound the alarms. No need to repurpose your Free Britney signs and rush down to your local jail and protest, because it turns out that most jurisdictions aren't arresting people for having one too many Oldsmobiles. In a request for information regarding this issue, only a few jurisdictions took the time to respond, reporting that they never prosecuted someone with a misdemeanor based on this statute since 1973, when it was put into statute. And while they all handle it slightly differently, they mostly consider it a violation of public nuisance to their municipal codes and apply enforcement measures through administrative and civil penalties. The goal of this bill is to align or modernize, if you will, state statute with the common practice of our local jurisdictions. Now, some would say, why take on an issue that isn't really an issue? And the bottom line is, as legislators, we have a responsibility to update our statutes as times change. And when you become aware that a law is out of touch to our common practice, beliefs, or values, we must make those changes in our statutes. And so, we are here for AB 316. I will walk through the bill real briefly and the amendment. It reduces the penalty for those with vehicles that are not registered from a misdemeanor to a civil penalty of no more than $100 for each day of the violation. The amendment is in addition to the provisions of this bill, authorizes a local authority to adopt an ordinance prohibiting the same conduct which is prohibited by Nevada Revised Statutes 487, NRS 487290, and establishes a different civil penalty, and provides that if a local authority adopts an ordinance described in subsection 1 of section 1, a person who commits the conduct prohibited by NRS 487290 shall be subject to the provisions of the local ordinance, including the civil penalty established by a local ordinance rather than state law. The reason that the amendment was necessary is because the goal of this bill was not to prescribe how local jurisdictions were handling it. They already are having success in their measures, and we just want to align the statute to give them still the brevity to apply the codes in the way that they are handling it, but removing the misdemeanor from our state statute. And with that, I am done, and I will take your questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Members, questions? Assemblyman Gurr.
I think this is a wonderful bill. I think it's never been enforced in my district, which is 50,000 square miles. It's almost a requirement when you move out in the country to find at least 2 broken down cars to park on your lot. I think I've counted as many as 15 or 20 on a 2-acre parcel. So it's a great bill. I hope it is effective. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Assemblywoman Gallant.
This might come down as like what the shortest amendment of the session. Kudos on that one. I'm curious, is it $100 just flat, or is it per car, or?
So in the statute, what's in the bill, it would be $100 per day of each violation. As of right now, it's my understanding that it is one violation is if you have 5 or 10 cars on the property, that's one violation, and it would be $100. That's my understanding of it.
Sure, that sounds reasonable. Thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions for members of the committee? Assemblywoman Kasama.
Thank you. I know you just answered the question, but since we are changing the statute, should we make it clear if it's $100 per car, $100 per property?
Assemblyman C.H. Miller, for the record, I didn't do that last time. But I will, I don't have a problem clarifying that a little bit more for the statute. Ultimately, and that part really applies for places that don't have a local jurisdictional or municipal code, because with the amendment, it would automatically revert to whatever the local jurisdiction is doing. But yes, I can add a clarifying word or two for that.
Or maybe something to the point of what it will be if there is no local jurisdiction imposing it, so you leave it up to the local jurisdiction, or just,
Right.
once we fix the statute, you just maybe make it as clear as possible.
Absolutely. So if there is no, C.H. Miller, for the record, if there is no local jurisdiction or local code, it would automatically revert to the state statute, which we can clarify that what a violation is, how it's defined.
Thank you.
No problem.
Thank you for that. And I just looked at NRS 487.290, which is the language that actually lists what's prohibited. And I think you mentioned it in your presentation. A person shall not, for any reason, keep more than 2 unregistered vehicles on real property owned by or under the possession or control of the person if the vehicles are no longer intended for or in condition for lawful use on the highway. And so I think that it doesn't mention that it's for each vehicle. It's essentially, if someone has gone outside those boundaries, then that's what triggers the violation. And it's not on a per vehicle basis under this reading. So I think when you combine it with the provisions of the bill, at least in my opinion, I think that your understanding of how it would be applied is correct. Members, any additional questions? Assemblywoman Dickman.
Just a quick comment, $100 a day is not inconsequential, even if it just is on the property, so that would make sense, I think. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, thank you very much for the presentation. With that, we'll move to testimony in support of Assembly Bill 316. As a reminder, we'll limit testimony in support, opposition, and neutral to 20 minutes each. So we'll begin with testimony in support. Anyone wishing to provide testimony in support here in Carson City or in Las Vegas? Seeing nobody at this time, Broadcast Production Services, can we see if anyone wishes to provide testimony in support by phone?
To provide testimony in support of Assembly Bill 316, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. There are no callers choosing to provide testimony in support at this time.
Thank you. Next, we'll move to testimony in opposition of Assembly Bill 316, either here in Carson City or in Las Vegas. Seeing no one coming forward at this time, BPS, do we have anyone wishing to provide opposition on AB 316 by phone?
To testify in opposition to Assembly Bill 316, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. There are no callers choosing to provide testimony in opposition.
Thank you, and we'll finally move to testimony in the neutral position on Assembly Bill 316, either here in Carson City or down in Las Vegas. Seeing none, BPS, can we check the phone lines?
To testify in neutral for Assembly Bill 316, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue. There are no callers choosing to testify in neutral at this time.
Thank you. Assemblyman, any closing remarks? All right, well, that might be a record. Well done. With that, I'll close the hearing on Assembly Bill 316. And I believe we're still waiting on the sponsor for Assembly Bill 336. So, Cecilia. So we'll take a brief recess while we wait for the sponsor to arrive. All right, the committee will come back to order. I will now open the hearing on Assembly Bill 336, which revises provisions governing driver authorization cards. Welcome to the Committee on Growth and Infrastructure, Assemblywoman Gonzalez. Whenever you're ready, state your name for the record, and you may begin.
Thank you. Hello, this is my first time in your committee, so thank you all for having me. Just got to catch my breath for a second there. Thank you, Chair Watts and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Assemblywoman Gonzalez, and I represent beautiful Assembly District 16 in Clark County. And I am presenting to you Assembly Bill 336, which revises provisions governing driver authorization cards. And with me today to present is Rico Ocampo with Make the Road Nevada. Just for the committee, there was an amendment submitted that you should all have on Nellis. However, it's been deadline week, so, it's been crazy around here. We forgot to add the effective date change as well, will be for 2024, 2025, when the DMV is projected to finish their revamping, if you will, of their systems. And so the second part of that amendment with changes to the effective date will be coming to the committee after the hearing. We honestly forgot to include it, but had those conversations with stakeholders. All right, for the bill now. Driver authorization cards, also known as DACs, were first introduced in Nevada in 2014. Those cards were designed to provide driving privileges to individuals who are not eligible for a traditional driver's license due to inability to provide proof of identification requirements, such as undocumented immigrants were able to obtain a DAC with a birth certificate or passport from another government or foreign government. Before the implementation of DACs, undocumented immigrants in Nevada were not able to obtain driver's licenses or insurance, which made driving a risky and potentially dangerous activity for both driver and other motorists on the road. The implementation of DACs was seen as a way to improve safety on the roads and provide more opportunities for undocumented immigrants to work and contribute to our beautiful society, specifically Nevada. Since the program's inception, thousands of Nevadans have obtained DACs, which allows them to legally drive and obtain insurance. However, the program has faced some challenges, including long wait times for appointments and sometimes difficulty obtaining documentation needed for appointments. However, despite these challenges, the program remains an important tool for improving road safety and providing opportunities for undocumented immigrants in Nevada. As introduced, AB 336 would remove the prohibitions against, I'm so sorry. I forgot to update my remarks. Apologies, y'all. I addressed that in the amendment. Or I will address it now. So, as introduced, AB 336 would have removed the prohibition against a DAX card being used to determine eligibility for government benefits, licenses, or services. We, in the amendment, we put that provision back in because that was not the intent for that to come out of this bill. So that is what you have in front of you, the amendment. And additionally, AB 336 changes the expiration date of the DACs to be prescribed by regulations so that it is consistent with federal law and it follows the same period time of issuance and expiration of a driver's license. So essentially what we're doing with 336 is that we are making all renewals for driver's licenses, whether it's a driver's license or a DAX card, to be streamlined, universal, and on the same renewal time. The proposed amendment, which is on Nellis, as I said, restores this provision that was strucken. Therefore, AB 336, as amended, would only propose a change to the expiration date of the DAX, streamlining the renewal process. And at this time, I will turn it over to my co-presenter. Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience while I get it together.
Thank you very much for the presentation. Welcome, Mr. Ocampo. Please proceed whenever you're ready.
Good afternoon, Chair, members of the committee. For the record, my name is Rico Ocampo, R-I-C-O space O-C-A-M-P-O. I want to start off by thanking Assemblywoman Gonzalez for sponsoring AB 336 and for her unwavering commitment to improving the lives of all Nevadans. It is a privilege to be here in the People's House, a privilege to be in front of this committee. and in order to co-present this important piece of legislation with Assemblywoman Gonzalez. I am here on behalf of the Nevada Immigrant Coalition. The coalition ensures immigrant, refugees, and new American voices are heard at the local, state, and federal level. And we advocate for humane and fair immigration policies in Nevada. For the record, I am also the lead organizer for Make the Road Nevada. Our organization was formed in 2017 in response to the Route 91 Harvest Festival shooting, when many undocumented immigrant workers and now survivors face significant barriers in accessing medical and mental health services due to their immigration status. And I'm proud to have the opportunity to bring the voices of the community to this chamber, and I look forward to sharing the positive impact that AB 336 will have on the state of Nevada. As a representative of an organization that is on the ground speaking with community members every day and listening about their concerns regarding driver authorization cards, I am in a unique position to provide insight into the impact of this legislation. Since the passing of Senate Bill 303 in 2013 and its implementation in 2014, which allowed undocumented immigrants living in Nevada to obtain driver authorization cards, making Nevada among 20 states in the District of Columbia to implement such a program. Since then, thousands of Nevadans have had the opportunity to obtain a driver authorization card, or also known as a DAC, providing them with a measure of mobility and independence. However, as we approach a decade since the implementation of SB 303, it has been clear that there are lingering challenges that remain for those who possess a DAC, and I think an opportunity for us to move along with the changes. One of the primary challenges is the discrepancy in expiration dates between driver authorization cards and driver's licenses. The former is valid for 4 years. The latter is valid for 8 years. This means that those who possess a DAC are required to pay more just to maintain their ability to drive on Nevada's roads, and we want to change that. And I feel like this committee wants to change that too. Another challenge we have seen is the lack of recognition of DACs as a valid form of identification. The DAC states not valid for ID in its face, causing widespread confusion among businesses, institutions, and frustration among the communities we serve. And our outreach efforts have shown that DAC holders oftentimes face rejection and disappointment when trying to perform essential tasks, and reinforce the need for action on AB 336. The confusion faced by DAC holders is not just limited to everyday situations, but extends to financial institutions and grocery stores as well. In our outreach efforts, we contacted several major banks, for example, including US Bank, Bank of America, Citibank, and Chase Bank. All of them confirmed that DACs are not accepted. However, Wells Fargo and Nevada State Bank indicated that they would only accept it as a secondary form of identification, so you can imagine the confusion there just for DAC holders alone, not knowing where they can go to open a bank account in Nevada. We also reached out to major grocery stores, including Smith's, Albertsons, Vons, and Walmart neighborhood stores. They all confirmed that DACs would not be acceptable as a form of ID. Their reasoning was that DACs would not pass their scanner and therefore would not be accepted. And one Walmart neighborhood employee even stated their confusion as to why DACs are technically issued by the Department of Motor Vehicles, but can't use it as a privilege to identify yourself. So it's not just customer service lines that we're getting this from, it's actually cashiers that don't know what to do when a DAC is presented to them. This leaves many individuals without viable options, particularly those who don't have a passport or matricula consular. And I think it's important to note that here in Nevada, or at least where I'm from, in Las Vegas, we only have 2 consulates, the Consulate of Mexico and the Consulate of El Salvador. That means that if you're from Africa, from South America, Central America, that is not El Salvador, you're out of luck in obtaining a passport. And folks oftentimes have to carry their passports with them. Additionally, AB 336 will address some of those issues. We hope that we can work together to rectify this situation by aligning the renewal provisions of DACs and driver's licenses providing DAC holders with the same level of security and stability as those who hold driver's licenses. In conclusion, I believe, based on the conversations that I've had with the community, the conversations that we've had with businesses, that if we can streamline the process to make DACs equitable in the same way as driver's licenses, we can really get some good things done. And I think it's important for me also to say this, and I'll end with this, that we are open to not only work with Assemblywoman Gonzalez on this issue, but all relevant stakeholders who have an important say in this process when it comes to driver's authorization cards. We want all stakeholders to be in this conversation, and we want a community input as well. And the community right now is telling us DACs are just not accepted. They're not being recognized the same way as driver's licenses. And it's been 10 years since the passing of Senate Bill S303, and I think we could add a transformational change to that passing of the bill. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I'd just take a moment of personal privilege to say it's great to see you here, Mr. Ocampo. And thank you for taking time to share the stories from the community about why you felt it was important to bring this measure forward. Before I open it up to questions from other members of the committee, I just want to note that I have at least, and I think many of us have received some questions and feedback from other members of the community. And while I think that you addressed this during the presentation, I just want to make sure that we get a really clear record. So nothing in the bill, especially with the proposed amendment, changes any state or federal laws related to eligibility for any programs, does it?
Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16 for the record. Thank you so much. That is correct. It does not change anything. A question did come up that if the HOPE Act that is in the Senate chambers right now passes, would DAC cards be allowed to be determined for eligibility? Obviously, we have to see if that bill goes through, and I think we'd have to come back and address that. So as it currently stands, correct, it does not change any federal or state laws for benefits.
Thank you. And DAC holders do pay for those applications and for those cards to cover those costs. And as it stands right now, because the renewal period is 4 years instead of 8 years, they actually pay double what driver's license holders pay to the DMV. Is that correct?
Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16 for the record. Yes, that is correct, and that is the problem that we are trying to address here.
Thank you. And they also need to go to the DMV twice as often, correct?
Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16 for the record. That is correct.
Thank you for that. I just wanted to make sure that we got that really clear on the record because of some of the concerns that have come in. And, I'll just, again, I want to say that I honestly wish that this policy wasn't necessary. I think there's been a lot of concerns expressed by some folks about folks being able to obtain citizenship and access driver's licenses, and I would love to see that. I wish that driver's authorization cards weren't necessary. I wish that friends that I met when I was in high school weren't still waiting for a path to citizenship. I wish that we haven't made more progress since the time I was in high school on border security and the border wall than we have on providing green cards or a path to citizenship for dreamers. I wish that the best advice to give an undocumented American in our community wasn't to try and marry a citizen or be the victim of a crime to qualify for a visa. But that's where we are, unfortunately, right now. And so the only option that we have to allow people to be able to utilize transportation and get insurance is driver authorization cards. So I appreciate you bringing forward this measure to create some consistency between the different forms of ID and driver authorization that we have in this state. With that, I'll open it up to other members of the committee for questions. We'll start with Assemblywoman Dickman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I have a couple of questions. One has to do with the cost, because is it not correct that people over 65 have to renew their license every 4 years? And I believe that it costs less than the 8-year.
Sorry, just Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16. Point of clarification, you're asking if people over 65 have to renew every 4 years?
Yeah, I'm quite sure they do.
I don't know that policy. I think that would definitely be a DMV question. I think that they are in the room. I don't know if you would, Chair, if you would like them to come to the table now, or if you would like them to wait for a testimony.
We'll have the I see we have representatives from the DMV here. We'll have them come up in neutral. And Mr. Sever, I can see that you're taking notes, so please address that when you come up.
Thank you. And then could I just ask, so the way I understand this bill, you're talking about the DAC kind of making it more mainstream so it can be used for ID for certain things. But if you do this amendment, does this bill actually do that, or does this bill now just change the time frame?
Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16, for the record. Thank you so much for the question, Assemblywoman. As of right now, the bill is just changing the renewal time. I think that my co-presenter was really giving the background and the history, but this bill as it is in front of you does not change that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Questions from other members of the committee? Assemblyman Miller.
I want to say thank you for bringing this bill. It's important that, as everyone probably knows, I'm married recently to a new immigrant to the U.S. and going through the process, while she has a path to citizenship because we're married, it's a long path. And even just getting all of the pieces in play to get her green card and all of that stuff, months, maybe even a year or so out. So being able to have something like this, we're still working on driving on the right side of the road because she's from a country where they drive on the other side of the road. But having something like this would be beneficial, especially when I'm away at the legislature and she may need to go to the bank or something like that. So I appreciate it. My only question here is why I wasn't asked to be a primary sponsor on it. And I see there's a place for a primary sponsor, so my ask is to be added as a primary sponsor to the bill. Thank you.
Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16, for the record. Thank you so much. I think we both share the newlywed immigrant story here. And so I would love to have you as a primary co-sponsor, and I apologize for not asking.
Thank you. All right. Assemblywoman Summers Armstrong.
So far away. Thank you, Assemblywoman Gonzalez, for this bill, and thank you for this presentation, Mr. Ocampo. Can you please just give a little bit of clarity on the topic that you started with about banking? I really would like some more information about how this fits into the whole scheme of finances, and we don't want people putting money underneath their mattresses. And we also know that in order to prepare people for integration and matriculation into our societal norms, that banking is one of those really, really important things. And it makes people very, at least in the community that I represent, when we don't have access to banking, we have problems with people going to paydays and others, and they can certainly get caught up in some trouble. So if you could just kind of clarify, I'd appreciate that.
Rico Ocampo here for the record. What we're seeing as a common pattern is when we were speaking to banks primarily banking institutions, was that, and even when we went to a bank ourselves, when we showed them the image of a DAC, they were just confused. It was something they've never seen before, and I think if you're someone that never has to have a driver's authorization card, maybe you don't know anyone that has a driver authorization card, it can be very new to you. And so I think what we saw during these interactions was, why does the DMV roll out a different card differently for 4 years, and why isn't it for 8 years? And trying to have that conversation with a banker while in the middle of their workday is hard enough, right? And trying to explain to them this is more of a state issue, but going up to them and saying, if someone came to your establishment, how would you react to someone presenting this as a way to try to open up a bank account? And the common reception that we got was, we don't know. Folks don't know, and I think that's the issue that we're trying to address here, is ensure that all Nevadans, regardless of their immigration status, are treated the same, and they have access to basic functioning needs, like being able to access money for their bank accounts to, pay for their bills. And, I think being able to address this issue, even if we have to, have uncomfortable conversations about immigration, because I know this is oftentimes not a very easy topic to discuss. We believe that, DAC, this bill should be nonpartisan. This shouldn't be a Democratic or Republican or independent bill. It should be a bill that I think everyone should jump on, and that's kind of what we're hearing on the ground.
Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16 for the record, and I just wanted to hop in there. As we have heard, right, immigration is a complex and deeply intertwined issue, and I think for us in the future, we would definitely like to see them operate as identification cards as well. However, this is really the starting point to streamline the process. As we all know in this building, we get our wins where we can, right? And so I think that the testimony on the history and currently what is happening provides the background, right, on why, number one, there are challenges, but number two, why we need to streamline this process. And so I thank you for the question, and I definitely agree that it's a problem that I think needs more time to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you for that, and thanks for providing the information on some of the ongoing outreach and education efforts that have been going on in regards to this. I know that when this was implemented, a big goal was to make sure that there was never going to be any confusion that would allow kind of the requirements associated with the driver authorization card to be confused with more stringent identification requirements and lead to potential kind of misidentification or misqualification. But the fact that in some cases some people won't accept it as proof that somebody's 18 or 21 because of the way that it's designed and designated, I think is worth bringing to the committee's attention. So with that, thank you both. Oh, Assemblywoman Gallant, go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry to be at the end. So I just quickly looked up on the DMV website. I was kind of curious, like, how much do I pay every 8 years, right? And so for an 8-year license, they have it on here for $41.25 when you were 65 and younger. For 65 and older, you have to do it every 4 years, is $22.25, which is the same amount that the DACA cards have been charged. So if this was to go through, would they be, with the expectation, I understand like that way they don't have to go to the DMV, but it doesn't appear that they're paying more necessarily than somebody 20 or 65 or older. But would their expectation be that the charge would then be $41.25, just like the rest of us?
Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16 for the record. Thank you so much for that question. The expectation is that it would be charged the same. I don't think in any of our conversations with the community, with stakeholders, the monetary charge is the issue, right? It's the issue of having to constantly go back, having to wait, having it expire when you're working, and then you have to make a decision, am I going to break the law or am I going to go to work, right? Folks are fine paying, and I don't want to say they're fine paying even more, but I don't think that's the issue here, right? I think it's the issue of everyone else being able to have 8-year renewal. My license right now is for 8 years, right? I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. And again, you really get in that bind when you have such a short renewal time, right? And you can't get an appointment in, right? We know it's very hard to get appointments in with the DMV as of right now, let alone what happened during COVID, right? And so these are really some of the challenges along with it not being a real ID or used as ID that come along with it that we're really trying to start to chip away at. Yeah, thank you.
So I can go and do it online and it just gets mailed to me. Is that the same with DACA? And if not, or DAC, excuse me. And if not, like, is that a discussion you're having with DMV as well? Because the idea, I mean, I appreciate what you're doing. Like, it's making it easier, less people in line. I love that. So I'm just wondering if those conversations have been had.
Rigo Campo here for the record. So some of the preliminary discussions we've been having with the DMV, and you know, I'll leave it to the experts to provide the data around DACs, but there are an estimated, I believe, over 70,000 eligible renewals for DACs, and I'm pretty confident in saying the DMV would love less people in the DMV renewing their whatever it is that they're renewing or they're for. And so I think that's one of the things I think is beneficial from this bill. The other thing too, I think based on the conversation that we've been having with the DMV and here with the Assemblywoman, is that the DACs themselves, they have been beneficial in the sense of how would I explain it? Can you repeat the question one more time so I can capture it? Yeah.
If it's
Yeah.
online now, and if not, are you having conversations for it to be online renewal?
Yeah. To my understanding, I believe the DACs have to be done in person. Yeah.
Thank you very much for those questions and that clarification. Perhaps we would want to explore making sure that, especially with for our senior citizens, that we have some alignment so that we're fully aligned between the DAC and the driver's license. So I appreciate that. Seeing no other questions, thank you very much for your presentation. Again, we'll be asking folks to limit their remarks to 2 minutes, and we'll be limiting testimony in support, opposition, and neutral to a total of 20 minutes each. I have 2:18, so we'll now begin testimony in support of Assembly Bill 336. We'll rotate between Carson City, Las Vegas, and online. So anyone wishing to provide support, please come forward. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Paul Catha, Culinary Workers Union Local 226. Last name is spelled C-A-T-H-A. No, we got a lot of folks here, so I'll just say we support and leave time for other folks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Catha. Next.
Hello, committee members. My name is Paula Luna. That's Paula-Luna. I'm the operations manager at Battleborn Progress. We are testifying in support of AB 336 and want to thank Assemblywoman Gonzalez for sponsoring this bill. We would like to first recognize the importance of driver authorization cards have been for our community. Driver authorization cards facilitate having tested and insured drivers on our roads just as driver's licenses do, and both should have the same renewal standards. It's as simple as that. We urge the committee support. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Hello, Chair Watts and members of the committee. My name is Nicole Winkleman. That's Nicole-Winklemann. And I am here today in support of AB 366. This bill represents an opportunity to decrease additional time-consuming logistical barriers that individuals who have DACs face, a population that is primarily undocumented. So I urge your support of this bill so that we can empower our immigrant population. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So go ahead. We're going to move to Las Vegas, and then so we can have one more person fill in this chair. We're going to go to Las Vegas. Then we're going to take up to three callers by phone, and then we'll come back here to Carson City. So in Las Vegas, whoever wants to go first, please remember to state and spell your name for the record before you begin. You can proceed.
Thank you. Hello, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Hector Fong, Jr., HECTORFONG. I am the Progressive Leadership Alliance of Nevada's Communications Director, planned as a member of the Nevada Immigrant Coalition, and as a constituent of AD 12 and a member of a mixed status family, and also on behalf of Plan, I am here to ask you to support AB 336. So that immigrants are not subjected to an additional burden when driver's licenses and driver authorization cards are serve the same purpose. You know, different members of my family are forced to take additional days off of school, off of work, to make sure that they're able to preserve their method of transportation, say for work, school, whatever it may be. DACs are meant to be accessible by subjecting them to deferring renewal standards. We're maintaining an additional barrier to safe driving. These deferring processes are continuously holding immigrants to a different standard, and this one small systematic change could have a huge impact on lessening the separation between our communities in the state. So Nevada needs to make licenses and DACs valid for the same length of time. Passing AB 336 means more drivers in Nevada are tested, insured, trusted, and more importantly, are able to safely continue their lives and their day-to-day so that they can thrive. Thank you for their time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Fong. Next in Las Vegas, please go ahead.
Hello, Chairman Watts and members of the committee. My name is Rosalia Martinez, ROSALIA MARTINEZ. I'm representing Make the Road Nevada from Las Vegas. I'm here to express support for Bill AB 336. Currently, there are different renewal standard driver's license and driver authorization card holders. One is 8 years, while other is 2 years. This bill will reduce unnecessary hurdles like facing rejection for holding a DAC and promote equity, like not feeling like criminals by renewals and penalizing DAC holders. This bill aims to provide the same level of stability to all Nevadans regardless of their immigration status. We want access to the same opportunities to fully participate in our state's economy. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Broadcast Production Services, can we see if we have people wishing to provide testimony in support of AB 336 by phone?
To provide testimony in support of Assembly Bill 336, please press star 9 now to take your place in the queue.
Good afternoon, Chair and Committee members. My name is Amy Koo, AMYKOO, and I'm the Acting Deputy Director of One API in Nevada. Ditto to the comments before, and we urge you to support this bill. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Broadcast, next caller, please.
There are no other callers at this time.
All right, thank you. With that, we will return to Carson City. Whoever would like to go first, please state and spell your name for the record, and you can begin.
Hola, mi nombre es Rosario Moreno y soy miembro de Make the Road Nevada. Me dirijo a ustedes hoy para expresar mi firme apoyo a la propuesta de ley AB 336 que busca igualdad, las condiciones de renovación para la tarjeta de autorización de conducir DAC y la licencia de conducir de Nevada. Creo firmemente que al aprobar la propuesta de ley AB 336 se nos brindará la oportunidad de tener una identificación con las mismas normas de renovación que una licencia de conducir regular de Nevada. Esto no solo facilita nuestra vida diaria, sino que también refortalece la igualdad y el trabajo justo para todos los conductores de nuestro estado. Nuestra comunidad trabaja arduamente para construir el bienestar y el crecimiento de Nevada. Por lo tanto, les insisto que apoyen y aprueben la propuesta de ley AB 36 para garantizar que las personas de ADC sean tratadas con igualdad, justicia y en el proceso de renovación de sus documentos de identificación y conducción. Les agradezco por su atención y que considero este importante asunto. Gracias.
Gracias por su testimonio.
Translation in English.
That would be great.
Okay. Ms. Rosario just went and provided her public comment. She's mentioned, her name is Rosario Moreno. I'm a member of Make the Road Nevada. I'm writing to let you know today to express my strong support for AB 336, which seeks to equalize renewal conditions for driver's authorization cards as Nevada driver's licenses. As a DSC holder, I oftentimes face difficulties in identifying myself in everyday situations due to the lack of recognition of this document. Like many other members of our community, I am a hardworking individual with good morals who fulfills my annual tax obligations. My family depends on me, and together we strive to support our children and grandchildren. I firmly believe that passing AB 336 we will be given the opportunity to have identification with the same renewal standards as a regular Nevada driver's license. This will not only make our daily lives easier, but also reinforce equality and fair treatment for all drivers in our state. Our community works hard to contribute to the well-being and growth of Nevada. Therefore, I urge you to support and pass AB 336 to ensure that individuals with DACs are treated with equality and justice in the renewal process. Thank you for your attention and consideration of this important matter.
Thank you for providing that translation. And if you can provide that in writing to our committee secretary, it will help us in compiling the minutes. Thank you.
Hola, mi nombre es Elizabeth López, soy miembro de Make Road Nevada. Me presento ante usted hoy para apoyar firmemente la AB 336, que busca igualar las normas de renovación de las tarjetas de autorización para conducir y la licencia de conducir de Nevada, promoviendo la justicia y la igualdad entre todos los conductores. Es triste enfrentarse al rechazo constantemente al intentar realizar tareas esenciales, como abrir una cuenta bancaria o asistir a un proceso judicial, simplemente porque nuestras DAC no son reconocidas como identificaciones oficiales. Aportamos amplia documentación para obtener estos carnés y deberían ser tratados como formas válidas de identificación. Las discrepancias actuales en las normas de renovación también crean desafíos burocráticos innecesarios y confusión para los titulares de DAC. El ABC 336 pretende agilizar el proceso de obtención de licencias y mejorar su eficiencia, beneficiando tanto a los conductores como a las autoridades reguladoras. Le pedimos que lo apoye en áreas de igualdad, de derecho y reconocimiento para que no tengamos que seguir siendo rechazados en nuestra vida cotidiana. Al apoyar AB 336, usted puede ayudar a que esto sea una realidad para todos nosotros, todos los conductores de Nevada, y contribuir a un sistema de conducción más inclusivo y eficiente en nuestro estado. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Mr. Ocampo?
I'll try to be brief here. Hello, my name is Elizabeth Lopez, and I'm a member of Make the Road Nevada. I stand before you today in strong support of AB 336, which seeks to equalize the renewal standards for driver authorization cards. The current discrepancies in renewal standards also create unnecessary bureaucratic challenges and confusion for DAC holders. AB 336 aims to streamline the licensing process and enhance its efficiency, benefiting both drivers and regulatory authorities. We are asking you to support this for the sake of equal rights and recognition, so we no longer have to be turned away in our daily lives. By supporting AB 336, you can help make this a reality for all Nevada drivers and contribute to a more inclusive and efficient driving system in our state. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, committee. My name is Jahiver Mendez, and my name is Jahiver Mendez. Sorry, nervous. It's YAJAIRA for the record. Yes, hello. I stand for today to express my strong support for AB 336 and the bill that aims to equalize renewal standards to driver authorization cards and Nevada driver license, promoting fairness and inclusion for all drivers in the state. As someone with close family members and friends who are immigrants, I have witnessed firsthand the challenges they face in obtaining driver license and valid identification. The lack of proper identification creates barriers when accessing essential resources and other important documents, ultimately affecting their quality of life. I attest that some of my family members have struggled for years to gain legal status and/or driver license while also providing for their families. The journey to legal status and citizenship has also led separations from their spouses and children, causing immense emotional distress. AB 336 is a crucial step towards addressing these challenges by ensuring that all drivers, regardless of their documentation, have equal access to well-regulated driving system. By supporting the bill, we can alleviate the hardships faced by immigrants while fostering more inclusive and supportive community. This is why I support AB 336 and urge you to do the same. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You did a great job testifying. And we have about 6 minutes left. We're going to keep going here, and I am going to save some time to check back in to see if anybody else is on the phone lines before we finish. But we'll have, please go ahead.
Buenas tardes. Soy Roberto Rentería, miembro líder de Make It Roll, Nevada. He viajado desde Las Vegas para poder darme testimonio y apoyar a la AB 336. Personalmente, esto me afecta porque me siento discriminado y en una situación vulnerable. Me hacen sentir como basura. Y esto es como uno marcan y creo que todos deberíamos ser iguales. Un día fui a sacar el pasaporte de mi hija. Ella estaba muy emocionada, pero no pudimos sacarlo porque este documento no servía para identificarme. A pesar de que tiene toda mi información, mi nombre, mi fecha de nacimiento, etc., porque no funciona como identificación. Hasta ahora no he podido sacarle el pasaporte y me entristezo mucho por no saber cómo explicarle lo que sucedió. Este proceso genera confusión, mucha frustración. Les pido podamos hacer este cambio tan sencillo que pueda transformar una mala experiencia en una buena. Les pido que apoyen esta propuesta de ley y la oportunidad de que mi hija tenga su pasaporte americano y una experiencia que ella le llene de orgullo y felicidad. Gracias.
Muchas gracias por su testimonio. Mr. Ocampo.
Mr. Renteria's testimony is as follows. Good afternoon. My name is Roberto Renteria, ROBERTO space RENTERA. I'm a member leader with Make the Road Nevada. I traveled from Las Vegas to give my testimony and support AB 336. DACs make me feel like trash. They make me feel like I don't belong. They are treated differently than standard driver's licenses, and sometimes I don't even want to present it when I'm in front of people. One day, I went to get my daughter's passport. I wanted to get my daughter's passport. She was very excited. She's 11, but we couldn't get it because this document was not enough to identify me. Even though I had all of my information on the DAC, my name, my date of birth, and I proved who I was when I got it. Why doesn't it work as identification? I still haven't been able to get her passport because I wasn't able to prove who I was. And I felt really sad not knowing how to explain to her what happened. This is a process that generates confusion and a lot of frustration. I ask that we can make this simple change that can transform a bad experience into a good one. I ask that you support this bill and the opportunity for my daughter to have her American passport be an experience that fills her with pride and happiness. Thank you.
Thank you. If anyone else would like to testify, please come forward.
Hey, Chair, members of the committee. My name is Tony Ramirez, Tonyramiruz. I am here alongside our membership. I'm the Government Affairs Manager with Make the Road, I should mention. I just want to echo all of their testimony, and I'd be happy to bring any of them to your offices to discuss this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ramirez. All right, we have enough time. Broadcast Production Services, can we see if we have anyone else on the phones wishing to provide testimony in support of AB 336? I believe we have time for one caller.
There are no callers at this time.
All right, thank you very much. With that, we will move on to testimony in opposition of Assembly Bill 336. Anyone wishing to provide testimony in opposition, either here in Carson City or Las Vegas, please come forward. Seeing none at this time, Broadcast Production Services, can we see if anyone wishes to provide testimony in opposition by phone?
There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. And with that, we'll move to testimony in neutral on Assembly Bill 336. Welcome, Mr. Sever.
Thank you, Chair and committee members. Sean Sever from the Nevada DMV. Today's my birthday as well, so had to add that.
Take it easy.
We are neutral on AB 336, but we do have a fiscal note on it that hasn't posted yet on Nellis. This is an interesting one because it actually results in a positive overall impact to the DMV if we tie the driver authorization cards to our current renewal cycle. There will be a revenue decrease for DAC renewals beginning in FY '28, but we can't indicate that on the fiscal note because it's too far out. And there are also programming changes needed. However, the impact to the DMV will be reduced if the implementation date is moved to when the DMV transformation is complete. And we greatly appreciate the bill sponsor including this language in the bill. We do want to thank the bill sponsor for reaching out to us on this bill, and we're happy to work with her further on it. I also have Thomas Martin from the DMV to help me with questions. But if I may, Chair, I could answer the two that were presented, and thank you for the assist.
Please go ahead.
So 65 and older is every 4 years. And then the DACs also don't pay double. The 8-year is roughly double what those pay for a 4-year. So.
All right, thank you. Happy birthday, Mr. Sever. I'll try not to give you too many questions as presents, but I do have a couple, and I think some other members will too. So I appreciate the clarification on the driver's licenses and the renewal periods by age. So you referenced that there's a fiscal note that hasn't been posted yet. What would and I assume that's for the bill as it was originally written. So what would be the programming costs to align the DAC with the driver's license?
Sean Sever from the DMV. It is roughly $60,000. However, with the language moving it back to when our DTE is complete, I believe that would zero out.
Thank you. And you referenced that it would be a net benefit, and I assume that's by reducing in-person traffic into the DMV. Is that your understanding?
Sean Sever from the DMV, yes, it would reduce traffic into the DMV.
Thank you. And then there were questions, and I think you spoke a little bit to this, but so is your understanding of how this would be implemented, again, that the fee that would be charged would be adjusted and it would be the same amount that someone would pay for an 8-year driver's license? There would be cost parity there?
Sean Sever from the DMV, yes, that is correct.
All right. Thank you very much for that. I think that helps provide some clarity to the committee. And I'm actually pleasantly surprised by the amount of programming that would be needed, and I would be interested in getting this implemented sooner rather than later, both to take workload off of your department as well as provide some relief to the community. But we'll discuss that as we consider some of the fiscal matters moving forward. Members, additional questions? Assemblywoman Dickman.
Thank you, Chair. Just a quick one for confirmation. So even DAC renewals cannot be done online?
Yes, Sean Sever from the DMV, they're required to be in person.
Okay. And then I have a question, but I don't know who it's for. Okay. So one of the testifiers said they want fairness for all drivers. So what about seniors? People over 65? Is there some way we can address this in this bill so that people over 65 can go 8 years as well?
Well, I think that is more of a policy determination for us to make than the DMV. I think
Yeah, that's what I didn't think
just
it was.
speaking from my perspective, I think that we should definitely have some alignment between the authorization card and the license, although I believe there are some public policy reasons for having a shorter renewal period for seniors. So I think I'll simply say it's my intent as chair to make sure that there's alignment in the policy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members, any additional questions? Seeing none, thank you again both very much. Is there anyone else wishing to provide testimony in the neutral position on AB 336? BPS, can we see if anyone wishes to provide neutral testimony by phone?
There are no callers at this time.
Thank you. Assemblywoman Gonzalez, would you like to make any closing remarks?
Cecilia Gonzalez, District 16, for the record. First, I want to thank you, Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the committee for hearing this important piece of legislation. I do want to note the confusion that may have arisen from testimony and the intent of the bill. The intent of the bill is to streamline and standardize the renewal process. The testimony was really a testimony of the many challenges that people who hold these cards have. And this is the one thing that we can get done this session. And so I definitely urge your support, and thank you again so much for allowing us to present this measure. Thanks.
Thank you. With that, I will close the hearing on Assembly Bill 336. That brings us to the last item on our agenda for today, which is public comment. As a reminder, public comment has to be on, it can be issues of jurisdiction to this community, but not additional testimony on any legislation before the committee. We'll ask anyone wishing to provide public comment to limit their remarks to 2 minutes, and please clearly state and spell their name for the record before beginning. Is there anyone wishing to make public comment here in Carson City or in Las Vegas? Seeing none at this time, Broadcast Production Services, does anyone wish to provide public comment by phone?
The public line is open and working, and there are no callers at this time.
All right, well, that concludes our business for today. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, March 30th at 1:30 p.m. Thank you all. We're adjourned.